go into the Hangout, or doesn't it matter?
No, it's live now.
And there's a mail from Isha that has a slide deck, and the most important part of that is the mind map tool, perhaps because there's something that needs to be installed for that to work.
Okay, so
we should set up computers with this.
No, you should sit beside one that.
Yeah. This event is live, right? No.
And then you say open with.
There's an email.
Okay.
We're getting started.
Yeah, we're getting started in 5. Let me answer the link. Just want to open it.
Is here slide deck.
Do we need to work with the sound?
Oh, okay.
I just took that one and then see what else is hang out.
Is the sound? No, do we need to
Video.
set up the speaker?
I don't know. It's I hope, because I think the speaker is just coming out from here, right?
Oh, that's right.
If
Yeah,
And bought by a German company.
Yeah, it's all in German.
Yeah.
Showing up there.
Don't have a Danish Twitter office, they don't have a German Twitter office. So.
It's called the mic mode. Is that correct?
If det er åben med, når du åbner, så er der en mind et eller andet.
Yes.
Åbner.
Oh, something like that.
okay, so this is okay. So it's a funny shot, isn't it? Ah, Francesco, how are you?
Hi.
Hey.
It's a dog.
You have a dog. Okay. So we have. So let's see. Just in case, I think rather than webcasting slides, I'm just going to put the link here. So Francesco is the only one following us now, right?
And he's walking around too, so he really is following.
It's mobile learning.
Oh, yeah.
Mobile learning.
Sorry.
All right. So
You have to walk to learn.
there's Jim. Jim, are you with us? Can you hear us? Jim? Hello. Is Jim actually there? Joining us from the bus. The wonders of Danish transport. Okay, so let's. I think we should just get started, right?
He said, should I join the Hangout to?
Yeah, join the Hangout, and then you can, you can type stuff on the chat when we need it, and yeah, so that's the screen share. So just first of all, and yeah, if anybody here in the room wants the link to the presentation, because it has links to all the other stuff we'll be using. So first thing I wanted to kind of set some sort of house rules. So we have the workshop page on the where is it? Yeah. So if we look at EduPLoP, there's the workshop page over there, and we've put in the schedule, and we put in some background readings, and everybody got the background readings, and I'm sure everybody read them. And also in the background, we have some contributions from the people who are joining us remotely in one way or another. So some of them can join us physically and hopefully will be here, and others, we have their recordings. So that's that's kind of on the website, and we have this Hangout. We have a Google folder. So I set up this folder which has, as you see, lots of stuff in it. Eventually, we're going to build some patterns, right? So there's a patterns folder here, and there's a pattern template, and an index that we'll build along as we go on. And those of you that don't know about patterns, don't panic. You'll learn all you need to know tomorrow. We'll be using a lot of paper and post-its and stuff, so I kind of created a folder to put all the photos of the post-its and things like that, and a folder for any notes that we write down. So the first thing I created something called a scrapbook, which if you just have any random ideas or thoughts that kind of come up through the event, you just throw them in the scrapbook. And this, and then just kind of, if we have some social photos or stuff, I'll put them in the social folder and so on. This is, provisional, so we can kind of hack this as we go along. But I thought it's good to have kind of a shared workspace to work through. So yeah, there's a scrapbook, and there's the live schedule, which is also in this. No, sorry, the live schedule is up here. Hello?
I bet. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. So the idea about the live schedule is that Maha's idea, right? There's basically very simple way for people who are remote to kind of stay synced with what we're doing. So essentially, so for instance, well, obviously, the dinner and the game session, we don't need to put in any notes, but this session, I just threw in the link to the slides and to the Hangout and to the mind map that we're going to work on in a few minutes. So again, every session, whatever is happening in that session, we can throw the links into this document, and then if somebody remote joins us for that session, then they can catch up. So that's kind of the virtual space that we sort of set up. What I thought we'd do now is just kind of have a quick round of introductions. So, and I think what I suggest we do is that everyone say just a few words, who you are, where you're from, and what's your take on hybridity, hybrid learning, since this is the theme of this event. So just, say what that means to you. Okay, so shall we start with Alex?
Yeah, I can start. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
My name is Alex, and I'm a newcomer to this pattern thing. And for me, I think hybrid pedagogy or hybrid learning is about connecting or making some kind of nodes and network for people to participate. I also think that hybrid for me is for students actually to engage at different levels and using different tools to connect to the learning experience, and also try to find other ways into to reach learning goals on their own. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the session.
Just Francesco or Jim, can you just confirm that you can hear us, or if we need to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so Christian.
Yes, my name is Christian. I'm one of the so-called locals from Aarhus University. I work within the field of online learning, and I have a background in information and media studies. So I've been educated within the design field, but I'm more focused on learning and learning theory. So I'm not unfamiliar with patterns and design patterns, but not something that I've been working with the last few years. Hybrid pedagogy, I think, to me, working with online education and network learning, I think those are some terms that could be, close to hybrid pedagogy. To me, has to do with moving across some of the traditional distinctions between online, offline, face-to-face, virtual, etc. So I think, and also to maybe move beyond conceptions of classrooms and institutions, to see, to view learning in different places, more procedurally, and not to be confined to the traditional areas if we think about education and learning. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Sarah Robinson. I'm also one of the locals from Aarhus University, working at the Centre for Teaching Development and Digital Media. My research is in entrepreneurship or enterprise education, and I see this as being a field where we can move art students, for example, towards creating value for themselves and through enterprise education into society. So it's a much broader definition of entrepreneurship than maybe some of you have worked with before. Hybridity for me is, well, it's about crossing over. It's about using material and areas that are relevant, tools that are relevant when they're relevant. So it's like, using the electric motor in the car or going over to the petrol motor. So it's making these crossovers when they're appropriate.
Hi, I'm Chris Kovitz from the Cologne University of Applied Sciences, and I'm a computer scientist. I'm teaching programming and a lot of technical stuff, but also social technical matters like computer ethics. And I was also working in the field of e-learning and e-teaching a lot. I was working for Portal when we described how to use e-teaching for university teachers. So I'm originally not from the field of pedagogical questions, and that's why I came into, well, I know patterns a lot from the computer science field, and I always wanted to have that knowledge in this shape for pedagogical questions as well, because it's very pragmatic and practical, but also has a theoretical background. And right now, the courses I teach, they are accompanied by online lectures as well. Everything is online as well. You can come to the lecture or have everything as a screencast. And one of my questions I have at the moment is, how do universities have to look like in the future? Because you can't do everything online. It's sometimes better, and people still want to come to universities, but these learning spaces have to be shaped in different ways to incorporate other people easier. Just have one button to push to get other people in from other places. So these kind of questions would be interesting to me.
Okay, I'm Christian Kuppe from the Ham University of Applied Sciences in the Netherlands. I'm also actually a computer scientist, but I'm teaching computer science for a couple of years now. And I'm also working on it with educational patterns when teaching computer science. So I did quite some work in that area. And we have some, actually the education in the Netherlands and probably everywhere is changing a lot, and we are looking more towards education in part-time, where the people are already working and they certainly have different needs and different ways of learning, but also want to prepare our students better than we do now actually for lifelong learning. And we have some courses that are set up as flipped classrooms, so we are trying. We're beginning with experimenting, and some of these work really good, but there certainly is much more to do in that field.
I'm also from the Aarhus University, primarily occupied with design thinking and design, not necessarily like design patterns. So, you know, Yisha kind of taught me a lot about that, but design thinking as a way of thinking in the world and practicing in the world, and then connecting that to education. So educational design thinking, whatever that means, that kind of field I'm trying to develop. Hybridity, well, for me, it's about leaving unproductive dichotomies behind. So looking at a lot of students and children, looking at themselves, looking at the way we actually do research, trying to also kind of some do research, trying to move that into education. So the dichotomies between the global, the national, and the local, kind of fuse those or make them productive again. Being on campus or being in the city doesn't know how do we make that porous to kind of be out and be in. The online and the offline, that's actually perhaps where I think the term hybrid is very productive, because you kind of leave that dichotomy behind. So because hybridity is not either online and offline, it's actually this in-between space. So this third space and this in-between space and this emerging not yetness, what I call future making, is really what I'm kind of engaging with. Also technology and bodies, and how that is hybrid, coming out of my PhD on gameplay corporality. Also digital and tangible, yeah. In education, outside education, so really trying to connect students with professionals and professionals with students, and productively think about how, you know, we can go from students' experience of academic waste, making up exam papers and then going for being shredded or read by 2 people, into something very productively, handing something over as academic citizens rather than being students. So that's really much my take on hybridity and how we develop the science and ways of engaging that in valuable ways. Also working on virtue ethics. So.
Okay, so oh, sorry, just can you read out Jim, because Jim and Francesco wrote them, because I see that Bonnie can't find the handout for some reason.
Yeah, so I'll read.
So
Jim's,
you read out Jim, while I'll try to
and
bring
Francesco's,
yeah.
And Jim and Francesco, if you can hear me, you can add stuff. So Jim is saying, my name is Jim Broom, formerly of UMW, now working with Reclaim Hosting to empower open infrastructure. For me, hybrid means blurring, breaking down distinctions of authenticity between online and off. Francesco says, let's see if I'm missing anything, I don't think I am. My name is Francesco Caviglia. Sorry, Francesco, if I'm not saying that correctly. Caviglia. Oh. Can you, or you can have, you can try to say it yourself, Francesco?
Shall I tell it myself? I can't hear so well, so I don't know how it is on your side. It's sort of difficult for me to understand every word.
We'll try to speak up.
In Italian accent is registering beautifully.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've read I'm from Aarhus, Kudum, and for me, hybrid means primarily interdisciplinary, and rethinking the role of a teacher as an active participant in a process. And I must apologize. At some point, I'll have to leave for a while to pick up my daughter. Sorry.
Thank you, Francesco.
Thank you. And I see Maha has joined us. Maha, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm just, my daughter's still awake and she's eating. I'm about to put her into bed. But hi, everybody. I hope you guys are having fun over there. Do you want me to say anything while I'm here, or can I just listen in?
So we were just kind of, everyone doing around, and everyone was sort of sharing their view of hybridity, what it means to them. Also, kind of a short introduction, because I'm not sure everybody here knows you. So if you want to say a couple words about yourself, and then what does hybrid mean to you?
Okay, right now I'm a hybrid academic mom because my daughter's still awake. So I'm Maha Bailey from the American University in Cairo. I'm a faculty developer, so my job is about helping other people with their teaching, but I also teach myself. And I generally live a hybrid existence. Well, the video didn't work out, but I have an audio file on the website in terms of culture, so that my culture is a hybrid of different cultures, but also in terms of my online and my face-to-face life are very much merged.
Sorry.
The hybrid, yeah.
Sorry.
Go on.
I'm not sure how to do it.
Just let me know.
Okay, Maha, do you want me to run your audio file from the website?
Yeah, why don't you do that? Yeah, there's no point in repeating it, right? So yeah, if you want to play that, I'm gonna mute myself over here.
Okay, so let's see if we manage to get this working. Right, so yeah, we're being very, very technical here, right? So yeah, I'll play it here, but I don't know if.
Hi, this is Maha Bailey from the American University in Cairo, Egypt, and I'm doing this for EduPLoP.
So we need to go into the Hangout.
Sorry?
Into the Hangout.
Yeah.
And up in the sound, the settings. Yeah.
Is that the one?
Speakers. Right,
And this one.
This is for the microphone.
With that Jaffa.
Okay, I lost audio a while ago, and I assume that it's because you're trying to project the audio to the room. But I think you finished listening to my audio, and now I can't hear anything at all from the room. Is that the same for Jim and Francesco? I can't hear anything.
Can you hear us now?
Maha?
Yes, I can hear now.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're kind of, hacking our way through the technology here. So we were listening to your recording from the website. I thought it was very well thought and very well presented. You mentioned John's slides, so I don't know if people had the chance to look at that. But and I won't read through obviously the whole thing, but John talks about the zone of possibility, which is kind of illustrated by this Venn diagram. And I thought that your observation that the Venn diagram kind of seems to say that hybridity is in the intersection between these different circles, and whereas you thought actually hybridity creates new opportunities, so actually creates new things. So I thought that was very perceptive. And so again, I don't think we can go into looking into John's slides in detail now. What we could do is actually see if since Bonnie and I think Bonnie can't. I think she said she can't join us now, so I wonder if I can actually add her.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Stewart from the University of Prince Edward Island in Canada. And I see.
Let's see if I can. Okay. See if, trying the little system. How to do. So yeah, it's kind of a bit funny saying, thank you to Bonnie, who's not actually here, but then kind of I feel like she is in a way here, and it's So I think all these experiences for me kind of build up my perception of hybridity. There's this sort of total mix. So thanks, Einat, and as I said earlier, thanks, Bonnie, and I think well, I'm not sure if he's joined us or not, but in any case, he's also recorded a hello. So
Yeah, you probably before. We just need to perhaps check up on the tech because people say they can listen us or hear us. So can you hear us out there now?
silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, they can hear us now. Right.
Okay.
So last presentation from Iman coming up.
Yeah, and then we'll be back to the discussion. Right. That's. Now, how do I get back to?
Yeah, up in the green thingy.
Yeah,
in
that,
the, yeah.
Yeah, so that's stop the screen sharing. I still should turn the camera off and on. Yeah, the camera's on.
Yeah.
So I just need to switch to the camera. Right, there, I can do it, yeah. Yeah, so I think, well, maybe I should just kind of sit in front of the camera if I'm going to sit and speak. I don't know. With the camera in this chair. And yeah, is that's good?
Yeah, now you can see yourself in there and on the.
Hi, Bob. Yeah, I think for me, hybridity is about challenging those boundaries between contexts. So kind of traditionally we think of learning in a certain context. We learn in a classroom, or we learn on the job, or we learn online. There's always a singular context which sets expectations, sets affordances, sets constraints. And what we're doing here, we're sitting here in this room, in this lovely estate in the south of Denmark, with a lake on one side and the sea on the other side. And yet we have Jim, who's on the bus, and is in some ways with us here, but in some ways he's kind of subject to very different experiences. And he brings some of those experiences in, and some of them he keeps to himself. Or Maha is, at home. Well, now I think she had to kind of
tuck in the kids.
Yeah. So suddenly, Maha's experience of putting her daughter to sleep becomes part of our experience here. And that mixing of context, I mean, it opens up opportunities which we couldn't have otherwise. It creates challenges, but it also kind of forces us to sort of confront our own assumptions, and kind of forces us to ask questions about, then what is the meaning of education in this kind of world? What is our role as educators? What should we be telling our students to do, or what should we be asking our students, and learning from them? So that's what's so fascinating for me about this. And yeah, so I just took the, oh, thank you. Get on the bus. Yeah, I've been on, well, now on that bus, on a similar bus. But anyway, so I think that kind of sort of concludes our sort of round of introductions, right? And what I'd like to do now is switch, unless somebody wants to kind of make any sort of mid-level comments at this point.
I'm going to try and talk. We'll see if it works.
We'll see if it works.
I'm the only one on the bus, which is weird. It's like I have a charter bus just for me. But one of the things, like just what you were saying, Yishay, that was really for me. When I first started teaching a digital storytelling class that I taught, one of the things that I had a hard time wrapping my head around was actually giving students the complete option to not be in the class, not be in the physical space. And they loved it. So like they loved not having anything to do with me and doing it separately, and me having to kind of like, kind of swallow this idea that I'm some sort of centric, force of the class. And I mean, it's still something that I struggle with, but like that idea of also like using the class and networks to disappear, which is also dangerous too, because like, you see the mechanization of teaching as they approach it. It's not that, but also if you're going to really do something radical, you have to rethink your notion of centrality to the experience of learning. So it gets tricky quick.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it's funny because then, you know, your DS-106 course is kind of, you know, so many people know about it, even people who haven't ever looked at it, right? So suddenly, in a way, you've become kind of much more of a celebrity than you were if you were just standing before a class and lecturing.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And one of the things too there is that then the assumption of that process is associated with, well, you can do it because you have a following online of people who can help you distribute that. So then there's the other side. Like, I mean, not to complicate things too much, but like, you know, one of the ideas of hybridity for me had been like, how do you capture the work of students and build a community through a technical infrastructure, yet still make it human and interactive and feels like it's a community? And, you know, that's still something we're working hard on. I think MOOCs failed terribly at that. And we're kind of back to square one. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to talk about over the next few days, right? Like, what does that look like?
So that seems to kind of connect to what Maha was saying about, you know, us becoming cyborgs and kind of sort of finding it hard to separate our physical being from our sort of digital presence. And maybe that's in a way what John means when he talks about this sort of 50-50 partnership between man and machine. So, you know, there's obviously some themes we're going to explore over the next few days. I'd like to move on to the next exercise. So, because what I want is try to sort of get some. Let's see if I can do the screen share here. And I have to chat the screen share. So we've thrown up this. We've thrown up this mind map thing, and
I'll just share it in the chat.
You'll share the link in the chat, good. So, and you know, you guys also have, I mean, if you have laptops here, I mean, it'd be nice if somebody else and not me types while we're talking, but what I wanted to think of, you know, we've kind of all shared stories, and we've had stories or kind of ideas shared from outside of the room, and maybe kind of try to then map the concepts that came up. So I don't know who wants to have a first go at this. I see somebody's typing. Yeah. Is that somebody editing the map as we speak? Is it someone in this room editing the map, or?
Yes.
Probably.
Is that you, like?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Eradicated dichotomies. So.
Yeah. It's also correcting me.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So how do you connect them?
Well, it should have been created.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Eradication of dichotomies. Yeah. Well, blogs are kind of popping up as we speak. This is a bit slow, but still it seems to be working. Production of new spaces. Third space, yeah.
But which are more than the total of.
If somebody from the remote participants wants to, I mean, yeah, I see people So I think some people in the room are editing the map, and if you can either edit it also remotely, or throw stuff in the chat, or just speak up and say what you'd like to add to the map. Because we're and there was, I think Maha's point about the cultural hybridity and realizing that we're neither what we were, or and actually quite a few of us are sort of cultural hybrids, right? Yeah, but it's it makes me wonder if there's any. I think there are very few people in the world that are not cultural hybrid at this point.
Depending on what that means, I think I'm not. Well, I am on a certain level, like my dad is a pig farmer and my mom is an academic.
But also, you kind of, on one hand, you're sort of, they not far from Aarhus and you still live in Aarhus. On the other hand, you're part of this gaming culture, which crosses boundaries, and so,
But it was only like very, very recently I started to go into the world, actually. I never traveled in my PhD, for example. So I was always like national and never global. So the cultural hybridization was something that's not to do with countries, but to do with worldviews. Like my farmer dad's worldview of thinking about learning and being and doing, and was very, very radically different from my mom's friends' theory ways of doing and knowing and reflecting. The reflection was, the ways of reflecting and being in the world was, very different. So that's kind of the hybridization or the bastardization of me, I think, and not to do with countries. Yeah. I never experienced countries because I was only in one country. And I think that would be like radically different for other people, where their bastardization or hybridization could be to something to do with city, town, or Western, Eastern, or I don't know, the number of siblings you are in, like row of siblings, something like that. I think we are all kind of hybrids, and I think reflecting on that hybridization and being open to other kinds of hybridizations are very important on the identity level, at least.
I think we all kind of, we also see hybridity as a virtue, right? It's something that, by kind of, this idea that I think Maha expressed here, that you mix two things, you actually get something that's better. Right? That you mix two species and you get something which has improved qualities or new interesting qualities, so on. And it's not necessarily a view that everybody shares. I mean, there's quite a few Americans that apparently don't share that view today.
But actually, I also think it's not always a good thing. Like, for example, thinking about the other part where I perhaps am like radically hybrid is in my discipline, because I don't have any discipline. I'm like, I have something with science thinking, I have something with education, I have something with media studies, I have something with poetry, but I don't belong in the discipline, I don't have any specialization, I don't know much about anything. That's actually a song, isn't it? I don't know much about love, yeah, something like that. And that actually gives me like a lot of critique. I always get told I need to specialize, I need to become knowledgeable in the domain, I need to stop being hybrid as a scholar. And I think that kind of, yes, we like hybridity, but not in the way we are academics. There we need to be special.
Yeah, so it's the tension between interdisciplinarity and specialization.
Yeah, the vertical and the horizontal, right? You need to be the silo.
Yeah, and the tension between intercultureness and kind of a clear identity, and again, I think it's all these, all these things create. That's what they create tensions which force us to rethink the way we operate in the world, which again maybe is I think related to what Bonnie was saying about, the more she sort of became aware of her ability, the more it forces to really look at the processes and less in the content. And it's also, I mean, it's one thing being kind of having a sort of hybrid identity yourself. So I think operating in a kind of a hybrid environment, you realize that you can draw what people bring from these different contexts or different experiences.
Yeah, and that's often the definition of interdisciplinarity, right? Different specialized people working together. And I think that what I need to figure out or make powerful patterns for, whatever we call that, is how I'm allowed to be that bastard child of a lot of disciplines. How I'm allowed to conquer academia without specializing, without drilling deep, and actually, being the connector, being the hub.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of people that's very specialized, but they don't talk together, and they don't respect, or not respect is wrong, they don't understand the other disciplines, and they don't think they actually, doesn't make sense, and it's too much work, and it's too hard to kind of connect with that. That's logic.
That's about language as well.
Yes.
Because people speak particular discourses in a particular discipline.
And
I see you as a connector. I see you as being able to make these connections between different disciplines. So you've got a particular role in that you are able to move across and make those connections.
Yeah.
I like the connector.
Yeah.
I think in chemistry as well. I mean, we've got enzymes, we've got catalysts. What's the thing called that does that connecting? There's something there. I can't remember my chemistry.
I'm not interested in chemistry. Yeah, yeah, but I think so. I think hybridity for me is the breaking down of dichotomies. That it's not about being specialized, but being a connector. It's about being that third thing, because I think I am specialized. I just think I'm like perhaps specialized in a different way than what people say when they say specialized or something like that. And I actually think that probably goes for all of us, because otherwise we wouldn't care to be here, wasting all that academic time doing something that's very fussy.
Great. Does this make sense to you, or how does this connect to
It makes sense, but I really have to say I'm a bit having a discussion and looking at mine at the same time. It's I'm not multitasking first, actually. Yeah, I'm just so I'm making my notes. What are the challenges with this hybrid experience? These multi-channels that I'm working on. I also have my smartphone. I just put it down there to this side so I can't see what's going on there. Because I know there's right now going a discussion in my lab on WhatsApp, and I really have to put it away because yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like the comments.
Yes. This works also well.
But what is the challenge? You said you were writing down the challenges. What do you see as a challenge?
So actually, yeah. So first challenge I had is working with the mind app. Didn't work really well in my Firefox. Now it works for some reason. I was not getting the first part of the discussion. Admit, because I was struggling with technical problems. And then I'm just looking at my screen with the mind map, and it's not the same mind map I see there. And it's a real big semantic problem I have. seeing two things when we work together, and they are two different things, and we want to create meaning together.
There's a tear between.
Yeah, there's a real gap. So I don't know is Maya the right one? Is that the right one? So I was considering into his mind there. And
Actually, the content is the same,
the
but
content
it's
area.
organized differently.
Yeah, that's really strange. Yeah. So I actually also wrote down when you say you struggled with the microphones as well. Like tech is actually often slowing things down. Like trying to make something type hybrid will often slow things down. So I was also thinking about the participatory academic communities stuff when you talk about making students and teachers meet to be together. That will also slow things down, right? Because is this the right? Is you a teacher? Am I a teacher? Where's the teacher?
Yeah.
That will also slow things down. So the slowing things down. How do we use that productively and not destructively destructively? It's
So it's just slowing down, and also we are experts, but we are very used to using technology. So think about people who are not used to it. So they have all these challenges. So that's one side. The other side is we have children sitting somewhere in Denmark in a bus participating, who would otherwise read a nice novel or something, but he can't really join our discussion, which is the real benefit. And also people from all over the world who can just, I don't know who's still online, right?
Yeah, Jim and Iman and Francesco and Mara, so like at least 3-4 different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're also broadcasting live on YouTube, and it would be, and the recording would stay on YouTube, and I think that kind of, for me, there isn't that, this idea of hybridity goes along quite well with openness, right? So it's kind of, the fact that we're doing something, it's not limited to these four walls, but we're putting it out in the open, and we're bringing stuff from the open into the room, right? And we had the videos that people recorded, they were on the blog, everyone could see them, and we brought them into the room. So again, this also breaking down the dichotomy between closed and open. And again, as everything that raises some challenges, it also opens opportunities, and it requires, I think, a shift of culture.
So I think actually, I was just thinking about Heidegger's term about Zuhanden and Vorhanden. So hybridity is actually, it's calling attention to things that would actually be in the background. And it can be like technology, it can be the teacher, it can be the classroom, it can be the institution, it can be the online or the world. And that slows things down because we need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I think that if you want to use hybridity, we also need to really take that into consideration that it will slow things down. And so so why would we do this? Because technology or choosing not to be the teacher or something like that, if you don't have any reason for doing that, that will then.
You're saying it slows things down. Actually, this form of communication actually also can extend the moment. So it's always time expanding because now it's recorded, it's doubling, it's put out on YouTube. So this live broadcast is also a doubling of the time. And being in different, you said, writing down stuff, thinking, maybe hearing and not hearing something, it's still formatted. So even if we have this kind of hybridity, we are extending time as well. We are actually recording this time, not extending the moment. Actually, you could say that as well. And even if you use technology, all forms of communication is mediated, and you will have some kind of trouble. Maybe we also have opportunities.
Right.
Okay.
I just want to stop and say hi to Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie. Oh, we
muted.
You're muted.
Am I muted? No, I'm not muted, but she's
Bonnie is muted.
Bonnie, you're muted. But yeah, we heard your report. Hi.
Hi. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You didn't want us to hear you crunching on a carrot. That's fine.
Well, it's 3:30 and I've been in a meeting since 10:30. So I ended up, this is my lunch.
Yeah. Well, that connects exactly to what you were saying about, sort of this breaking down those boundaries of time, right? So, it's 8:30 here and 3:30 there, and then this is recorded, so some people would view it later. So again, it's another example of the sort of the blurring of the boundaries that we were talking about. I'll switch back to the mind map that we were kind of co-constructing during the conversation, because what we were doing is trying to kind of to think about all the different perceptions or conceptions and ideas we've heard about hybridity, and try to kind of bring them together into this map. And I think also some people took some notes, so we might kind of extend this map actually later. No, Chris, go on.
I was just thinking, somebody in one of the introduction videos mentioned, I don't know who it was, that the hybridity is really merging the real and the digital world. I think it just comes to me what we do right now. We haven't really merged it. It is, we change always our focus to technology all the time. We say, okay, now we have to just, can you hear me? So that's actually, I wrote down, can you hear me, is an anti-pattern. As long as we have this question, we are not actively learning at all. That's a technological problem that we have right now, where we see, oh, it's really, or you were turning around the camera, so sometimes we are interesting to see, sometimes they are interesting to see. But this should all be not necessary. It should be somehow automatically, there should be several cameras maybe, and the people sitting somewhere else, they can just choose what they want to see. We should also know who's watching me. That's also something interesting. When I'm sitting here and I'm looking, checking my WhatsApp all the time, and I just realize, oh, people are observing me. I'm doing something else. This social which just stop there if I don't know who's watching with the camera, right? Or the other thing is the videos that we had in the beginning, they were between 3 and 5 minutes. If you think about the round that we had, we were talking maybe 1 minute. So that was really a different, and that's the time boundary. It's completely different when you're sitting at home, you're preparing for it. Well, I understood when I did the recording for the what are patterns, and I did finalize, oh, it was 45 minutes. This only wanted to talk 10 minutes, so you really forget about the time. And these kind of things need to be addressed in a way. So also to the people who were not here, half an hour ago, we were sitting in another building which has a wonderful historic library. We were feeling really well there, sitting there. How can we bring you into that nice library? I mean, this is also a very nice room, but we were sitting just there, having the view on our just with a nice wall of books. And it was a very nice.
And only bring the camera into the library. We won't bring them into the library.
No, I think actually I want to ungush you, but I mean, when you say can you hear me? That's kind of, but actually, I think if you would say we can only have like a hybrid experience where everything works perfectly, then we wouldn't have this evening as it is, right? I mean, we have this evening as it is because we're willing to tolerate those imperfections. So everybody's kind of willing to tolerate that, not everything works smoothly, and we can't really bring the people from Canada or Egypt into the drawing room in the estate, and we can't really see the view that Jim sees from his bus window. No, but but still, we do have a sort of a shared presence, and there are some technical glitches, but we work around them. So that's I don't know if that's if that's a negative or a positive. See what I mean?
Well, we have to work around them because they are there, and we want to have this experience. I don't think that these workarounds are really the best solution. And I don't think if we want to have a larger audience, we can do this. If we want to think about this becoming daily life in education, this won't work actually because it changes the way we discuss or how we communicate with each other.
But I'm thinking that maybe I can follow you on the, we're not at the hybrid level yet, because I think the question is perhaps here is we don't know actually what this kind of situation is. I wrote something about that hybridity has to do with the deconstruction of centers. And there's kind of tendencies for us to say, let's draw people in here to this room, because we understand this room, we're in a workshop, we're discussing, so we draw the other people in. But maybe that's not the situation that, when we talk about production of other or third spaces. And this is a different thing that we're creating, and our expectations for this, are related to, a historic space that we're familiar with. But we're unfamiliar with the space where people are in small squares on the screen. So that also has to do with we need to maybe find out, what is the format for this and how should these people participate? How should we, and should we do something else when we are here? It's the same as when we have, we bring a lecturer from the outside and put them on the big screen, and then we all sit and listen, and it's not kind of the same experience. But maybe it should be, we should have a different setup, and maybe it would work differently. So I think that has to do with we haven't perhaps now reconstructed the center or haven't found out exactly what our expectations are different. But it would be okay, for Jim in the bus to have a different experience and a different role and a different take on, and he can switch off. And so, and I think actually when you said that, I didn't follow you before, you're also, focusing on something, actually not participating in. So I think it also takes place, but there's an expectation of, well, you should have been following the discussion because you're here. Maybe you shouldn't.
But that's exactly what I was saying. So in this case, the technology was distracting me.
Yes.
And up to a point where I was thinking, there's an interesting discussion going on. I don't know what it is about.
Yes.
I would really like to. And then Yishai directly asked me like sitting in school, and I was, in school, a teacher does that when he sees two students chatting with each other.
Or you feel Facebook.
It wasn't me. I was really making notes.
I didn't try to kind of, no, I didn't, I wasn't trying to share, I just thought it was actually, and Kristen hasn't spoken either, so I kind of said, so I know that some of us tend to talk a lot and some of us tend to talk less, so. But
that's interesting, just one more comment, so it would be also interesting to ask the online participants right away, so what's your take on that? And of course, what happens in the classroom, as a student, you see it coming. That you will ask if you are a perceptive student, you realize, the teacher 3 times a week is coming. She will ask me very soon.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the thing Bonnie said actually. If I may address, because she said you spoke about these spaces being equitable or more egalitarian, and still, like we are sitting here, we're talking to each other, and maybe forgetting the small pictures up there on the screen. So maybe we have to rethink the format of hybridity by taking our awareness also to the persons participating online and drawing them in. So
depending on if it's meaningful to be drawn in, or if it's actually more productive. Perhaps they're sitting there. Being totally invigorated and fiercely writing because they're thinking so much.
Well, maybe we should ask them. Yeah, so maybe one of the remote participants wants to kind of jump in and tell us what it looks like from there?
Or maybe tell us what you're doing right now. Are you listening, or do you also watch CNN?
My carrot and I. I'll jump in. I'm actually in the chat, which unfortunately is in a separate window on Firefox because my Chrome is borked right now. And I'm just sort of in the chat for this group, talking with Maha and Jim and Eamon. Am I pronouncing your name properly? I'm not sure. Eamon or Eamon, about all of sort of this experience of connecting imperfectly, and yet my feeling, particularly today, after, I mean, I don't know if any of us are actually physically located in the US, but I really don't know anyone in my circles who wasn't at least watching the election last night with a certain amount of sort of trepidation, and the capacity to share that experience with each other. And Maha was saying, you know, that the news has colored every meeting that she's been in today, and I agree, but my capacity to actually have people to share this experience with in different locations has been really profound for me. So that was sort of the chat conversation that we were having.
Now that's interesting, because actually that chat is something that we're not seeing here in the room.
Okay.
Right? So that's a different sort of circle or a different space which you guys are partial to, and we're excluded from.
Yeah, we don't have that connection.
That we feel like we've been left out.
Perhaps that's the way the Hangout is set up, because I thought it was my Chrome, but is it possible to open chat from your?
So apparently, yeah, Jim said, you know, on my Gmail, if I would switch to my Gmail, I would probably see that chat window, but I'm not going to bother to do it live now.
I think several of us online, several of the people who aren't on site are I'm on my phone. So the in Hangout chat, I can't see it at all. So this one, I think Yeshai could probably see it on his email. If he was on his Gmail chat, he would see it. Yeah, I'm trying to get her to bed, but she won't sleep. Sometimes she likes me to have my phone on while she's getting to bed. This is how hybrid my life is. Bonnie's sending you a kiss. She's sending you a kiss, but I have the camera off because it's dark in the room. Okay. But she can see you, and she's very happy. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I can try to bring up my Gmail window, or we can look at this later. Yeah, I think probably leave it for later. But that's actually again that's a kind of choices we need to make, right? Between, so what do we bring in to the shared space, and when we say, okay, I'll look at it later, or it's just something I need to sort of let it pass. So these are all the choices that we sort of need to make all the time. I think we also need to move on. Yeah, so we'll look at the chat later, and also where's this map? We were kind of quite active to begin with the map, and then we kind of lost steam. So we might get back to this map later. What we're going to do now is actually go to the next part of the activity, which is the values and vision. And here, I think that since we're going to be working with a lot of paper on the table here, I don't think that we can actually. I think it'd be too complicated to try to share that part in real time. So what we'll do is we'll try to get a good record of it and share it later, and then catch up with you guys in a live session sometime tomorrow. Is that okay? So I suggest that we just have a last round of comments. If anybody wants to add anything to the discussion, then we'll close this live session.
Perhaps it could be really interesting to hear from the different remote participants what they hope to, how they hope to connect what is most productive for you, you know, what you dream of, what your vision is for this, just to see if we can kind of make it come true.
Could I turn that around?
Yes.
And I may be the only one in this boat, but because I'm coming in late and you're all sitting in the room together and you have sort of the primary vision for this, I'm excited to be able to contribute and participate. But I'm at work, you know, my kids are home tomorrow and Friday. I'm going to be minimal in my capacity to actually engage. So what is it that, I guess, if you could summarize for me your vision and how our voices can be helpful in your mind, then I can think about what I can do within that. That would be my request.
Can I respond to that, Isha?
Yeah.
So what I really dream about is perhaps a bit like your videos also did to me, at least, to kind of make me open my mind to critically reflect on my own assumptions, to ask those questions, to make those comments that really, you know, made me take a huge leap in my understanding of hybridity, at least. What would be awesome for me was to, whenever it's fitting, I don't think it would be able for you to have that many like synchronous sessions, contributing to the paper, becoming a co-author in some way, connecting to something that seems interesting, and then it would be up to us to share it, so you would actually be able to connect with that. So what I would really dream about was like, when we start writing papers, when we start doing workshops, that it's actually also with you, in whatever sense that makes. That is actually, you are actually, you know, looking across our values, and yes, that's very nice, but you know, you have this huge presumptions here, or you have this huge gap here, or yes, but you know, this is actually what I see. And when we do the papers, say, I really like to be a co-author of this paper, I really like to be what's it called, reviewer number 2, you know, the really, you know, shredding it to pieces and making us cry.
But I like to, yeah, I just, you know, came over. Now you don't see it, right? But we're sitting in this room, and I've been kind of on the other side of the camera most of the time. But I thought, again, I'll come over here because I want to say that, you know, normally when people work in a singular space and there's a certain dynamic to it, you get that kind of group voice, and you develop your own jargon and these assumptions that everybody kind of takes for granted. And what happens then when somebody kind of comes from the outside is that they disrupt this. You know, they and that's what I'm hoping to get, that, you know, on one hand, we will have that intense dynamic happening here in the room, and, you know, kind of create something together, and then you'd come in and poke it, you know, and sort of, you know, burst our bubbles and sort of say, actually, I'm not sure I understand what you've written here, and then we kind of look at it and, oh, we were so happy with that, and
really makes sense.
And it really made sense when we were sitting around the table. So I think that's, you know, and I think most of the weekend we're going to be working in groups. So I think it might make the most sense if you know, Bon, if you attach yourself to one of the groups and sort of work along with them, because otherwise I think it'd be kind of hard to follow.
It'll get incoherent, yeah.
Yeah, just follow the whole scope of what's happening. But if you kind of attach to one group, or, you know, sort of, and try to, again, challenge them occasionally and say, I'm not quite sure what you meant here, or no,
or help them. You're allowed to help us.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping to get from this remote interaction. Also, I think, you know, there are a lot of people here with a very strong kind of design perspective and educational design perspective, education philosophy perspective. I think kind of the sort of the experience, or the, you know, the intuition that you have thinking about hybridity is something that we don't have in this room. So, you know, if you can kind of bring that in somehow, I'm not even sure how, you know, we would be very grateful. And that applies not only to you, but, you know, to everyone there out there with us. Yeah.
That's great, because speaking for myself, the having a sense of kind of appropriate ways to contribute when you're at a distance and you don't have that clear sense of what the feeling is in the room, it helps me to know in advance that it's okay to be reviewer number 2. If not that I really ever necessarily want to be reviewer number 2, but I look forward then. I will find a group and I will try to hang out and connect in and think out loud at least, and if that's valuable, I will probably do a lot of learning in there too. So for me, the design focus of this group is really interesting because that's not my background, but an area that I've been doing more research and learning about, and so I think I have a lot to learn in the process too. So I'm looking forward to this, even if I don't see a whole lot of folks after tonight. I am looking forward to the conversation that comes out and the writing.
And so I know if anybody else remotely wants to pitch in, so Francesco, even you want to kind of say a few words before we move on? No.
Hello. Hi everyone. Oops. I have 3 small mammals that I'm putting in baths and beds at the moment, so I'm a bit wary about turning on my audio too much, but I've been contributing in the back channel that's bubbling along, and I am in work tomorrow, but I will be available. I've blacked out some time in my schedule to connect in with you, so I hope to proliferally participate in this way, and very glad to be involved, and I'm learning loads.
I think, can I say, like, I'm just like really excited and humbled that all of you, like very amazing people, are actually willing to contribute in this way and dip in and out. I think that's actually a new experience for me, and that's some would say a pattern that I would really kind of, you know, engage more with, because that's actually some of the I will run, and I think this is already hugely interesting to see how this will pan out, and I think it would be really, really valuable for me as an educational designer and thinker to know how and to what extent that actually made sense to you, and that what that experience was for you.
Okay, so everybody keep a log of this event, and
I will ask you. We'll share.
And we have a question as well. Maha just asked in the chat, how will we get access to the GDocs to participate? What's our communication channel?
So we sent around, I think, a link to the Google Drive, and to what Maha suggested is that we'll keep a kind of a running schedule of the event. So we'll put links to everything we do in that running schedule.
In that schedule doc that you sent, Yishay?
And there's also, I mean, I started the presentation today before you and Mark joined. And so we've created a kind of a Google folder which has several subfolders, and you know, I might send an email explaining what each subfolder is, because there are quite a few there already. But in any case, if you come in at any point and want to figure out where we're at now and what we're doing now, then just look at the schedule and see, you know, what's happening at that moment and which docs are currently being edited. So that, you know, that way we'll try to kind of.
Pardon me, I gotta go. Excuse me.
All right. Bye bye. Oh, she can't see me. Wait. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Might I suggest that we could actually make a live Twitter feed, and then at the points where we are changing activities, maybe just tweet that. So the schedule comes to people, and they don't have to seek or look up the running schedule, but actually the schedule comes in their phone and pushed to them. So if
yes. We also have a Twitter feed, and we will try to also keep stuff there updated. All right.
We need to also move into, because Sarah will die.
Yeah. Okay.
In an hour. Really?
So I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say thank you to all the remote participants.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And we'll see you later.